Hello, welcome to episode 1 of Apriem Financial Cents. My name is Josh Garland. I am a financial advisor here at Apriem Advisors, and I have with me Chris Whitaker. He heads up our financial planning team. He's a certified financial planner and a gifted financial advisor himself. And Chris, what are we going to be talking about today?
Yeah, so I figured with end of year coming up, and it's a popular topic that we get questions a lot. Roth conversions is what we're going to be talking about today.
That's a good one. That has been a hot topic for a number of years now.
Yep.
Well, why don't we let's go ahead and dive in and have some fun here, kind of looking at how these Roth conversions work.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to introduce you to Adam and Allison at Fluent.
They sound wealthy.
We're going to talk about how wealthy they are. They are 60 and 58 respectively, right? And you can see here on the graph, a lot of times with retirement planning, the first question you got to answer, how long is my money going to last? Am I okay? Can I retire? Adam and Allison, for the purposes of this video, they are okay. So this is going to be tax efficient, which actually, before I go too deep in this, just kind of touching on what you're looking at on this bar graph. One bar represents 1 calendar year. X-axis goes out to age 95. Y-axis denotes their liquid investment accounts, or their assets growing over time with a growth rate that I have on here. Per account. Income's coming in, expenses are going out, taxes. A lot of things going on behind this graph here, but I'm just keeping it simple. You're seeing a projection here.
Okay. All right. So each one of those calendar years is really meant to be representative of everything that does occur between paying my mortgage, paying my cost of living, and my assets themselves growing as well.
Yep. Everything that's going on in this person's plan.
Okay.
Exactly.
Great.
Yep. And so maybe we'll start with just doing a Roth conversion itself, just to see what that, as a baseline. So if I click this button here, I'm going to open a new Roth account. Then I'm going to turn on the Roth conversion strategy. Let's actually see what's going on. I'm going to click in here, though. You can see what we're doing here. So, to Josh's original point here, what's happening with this conversion? We're taking $15,000 per year, and then we are converting that from his traditional IRA, putting it into the new Roth IRA from Adam's age 60 to age 70.
Okay, so it's $150,000 over a 10-year period. Mm-hmm. All right, and so why is it that we're doing it $15,000 per year for 10 years instead of taking all $150,000 and doing one lump sum this year right now?
We live in a progressive tax system, right? That's what we're taxed at. So I'm assuming federal progressive tax brackets here, along with California tax brackets, which California has their own progressive system as well on top of the federal system. Mm-hmm. So if I were to recognize, because we have to pay that income taxes on that conversion. So if we take all $150,000 out in 1 year, I'm scaling those marginal brackets very quickly. So my overall effective tax rate is obviously much higher that year. But if I spread it out over time, right, and we could spend an entire video going over different varying amounts of Roth conversion, but for this purpose, I'm just doing $15,000 per year for 10 years.
So essentially, it's a much more tax efficient way to fund the Roth IRA over time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Roth conversions in themselves can be tax efficient, but they can become inefficient if you do the wrong amounts. So
right.
That's a good
Absolutely.
point. Yeah. All right. So if I go to, so that's what we have on here. I'm going to go back to the plan. In a vacuum, this is not right for this client. Value loss. So mathematically speaking, this is a loss. So we wouldn't want to do this. Now there's other assumptions here. I'm not assuming, for this person, right? Well, it can change from person to person, which is obviously why we're showing this. But for this person, it does not make sense to pay the taxes now. They never really catch up to that amount. That's why you're seeing a value lost here. It's not worth it to pay it early here in this case. So,
okay. And so, what's kind of the effective reasoning behind that? Is that this really just a matter of I paid taxes now, and because I paid those taxes and I didn't have those dollars invested instead, I didn't get the compounded growth over time? Yeah,
well, yeah, exactly. Well, it's definitely a part of it. There's so many different factors in a financial plan, but I'd say the biggest one is that in this case, paying taxes now. We were never able to make that up in this plan because the tax rates never went high enough to justify that paying the taxes
to get the benefit out of it.
Exactly, yeah. So kind of a great segue into what I'm going to be, maybe I'll change some variables here. So if I set a new baseline, let me turn off the Roth conversion strategy, and we'll take all that off. Let's increase the 401k here, right? So if I increase the rate of growth on the 401k, right? So I have a typical retiree's normal balanced growth, definitely a healthy amount of bonds in this kind of a strategy, to a predominantly stock strategy, 8% growth over a long period of time. That's the compounded annual growth rate on that account.
Okay, so all we're looking at here is the clients have moved from being more conservative and getting a more conservative return to more aggressive and getting a higher rate of return, hypothetically over the course of time due to the higher equity exposure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just
Okay.
increasing equity exposure, which in general, if you can ride it out, should increase returns over a long period of time. And we're looking at a pretty long graph here. We're looking at a 30-plus year graph. And so now we have this new baseline of 5.3 million gained, right? So that's obviously a nice increase there. And now let's do the Roth. Before it was obviously negative. Now if I do that exact same button, new Roth, conversion strategy, same $15,000 each year for 10 years.
Wow, you see that the value earned jump almost $200,000 there.
Exactly. Yeah, you direct your attention here, right? That's the baseline Roth conversion strategy. It's going to update 5.5. So a couple $100,000.
And so what is it about? I mean, why is it that the only thing that changed between these two scenarios, the scenario we looked at that was negative $21,000, and now we look at a scenario where we're making an additional about $200,000, and the only thing that changed was the fact that we earned more along the way by being more aggressive with our returns. Why is that having such a drastic effect on the Roth? Why does the Roth all of a sudden look $200,000 better over the course of 30 plus years?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and I would say that it's much more a function of financial planning, looking at the entire picture, looking at the whole estate. So we're not pinpointing any specific account. Really, it's the fact that their entire estate is more efficient now, and everything that happens along the way with that retirement plan. So
essentially, just to clarify, what's happening here is that with Adam and Allison's retirement accounts, the 401ks, the IRAs, the non-Roth accounts, they're being forced to take these distributions. And because in this scenario, we've looked at a scenario where they're getting higher growth rates, those accounts are larger. Because those accounts are larger over time, now when they take those required minimum distributions, they're substantially larger. The benefit of having the Roth IRA account available decreases their total RMDs, not decreasing the income that they can withdraw or would need, just decreasing the taxable amount of dollars that are coming out each year.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and that's one of my favorite things about financial planning is that there's no one size fits all. It should all be customized. There's no one answer for anything. So as you saw, there were scenarios where it was negative, scenarios where it was positive. So whether it's with us or someone else, I definitely encourage everyone to really go dig deep into your financial planning and make sure you understand what's right for your situation.
Well, this was fantastic. I really hope that any of you watching this episode got some good meat and value out of the education that Chris has provided to us. And whether you decide to make a Roth IRA or a Roth conversion or keep your traditional IRA, if you need additional information or you have any questions, you can always visit us at our website, which is apriem.com, or you're welcome to call us at the home office, 949-253-8888. Once again, my name is Josh Garland.
I'm Chris Whitaker.
And we appreciate you watching episode 1 of Apriem Financial Cents.